What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. This is Bias News. Like I say always, don't forget to hit that like button. I'm gonna start just doing that right out from the jump. You know, we might as well say hit the like button because, man, it helps out so much. And I know people forget to hit that like button all the time because it really does help with the algorithm. Leaving a comment helps a lot too. And plus, you know, it's not just that. I do love hearing from you guys. And that's one of the main reasons, actually, why I'm covering this first story that we're about to briefly get into right quick. Because somebody wanted to know my impressions on what the Speaker of the House is going to be. And it seems to be like it's getting even more chaotic now. Jim Jordan seems to be backing down. And we just have everybody's running in for it. So let's get into it before we go too far on one of my crazy rants that I love to do so much. All right, so here we go. Byron Donalds running for House Speaker. I do like Byron Donalds also. I don't know enough about him to, I'd say, put my weight behind him. Of course, I really didn't know that much about Jim Jordan. I knew he was the chair of the Judicial Committee, and I like a lot of the stuff he does in those committees. But there's some background information that I didn't know about him that kind of calls into question his legitimacy that I've recently looked up into some stuff back in Ohio when he was at a specific college. So maybe it's a good thing Jim Jordan is backing down gracefully. I'm going to have to look into Byron Donalds. Like I said, I've seen him in the committee hearings. He's not a chair of any committee as far as I know, but I do like a lot of the things he has to say. He makes a lot of sense, but you can also say that about somebody like, I don't know, Jamie Raskin. You can look at some of the stuff he says, and you're like, oh yeah, hey, he's pretty smart, which the guy is pretty smart. He's a Democrat, though. That's his only flaw. And some of his viewpoints I totally disagree with, man, but you could look at some of these people and be like, yeah, they're nice. But when you look into their background and realize that they're politicians, things start to fall apart after that. So let's, once again, I can't help myself sometimes. Let's go ahead and get into it. After U.S. Rep. Jim Jordan lost 3 votes for Speaker, U.S. Rep. Byron Donalds is running to be the Republican conference nominee. Aides for the Naples Republican confirmed to Florida Politics he will seek the support in a closed-door GOP conference vote. Meanwhile, Punchbowl News' Jake Sherman reports he will face Majority Whip Tom Emmer and U.S. Reps Austin Scott, Jack Bergman, Kevin Hern, Mike Johnson of my state, and Mark Green. A vote could take place as soon as Monday. Donalds is among the nominees who claim he earned the votes both in the Speaker's ballots this week and over the protracted Speaker fight in January. Most recently, Rep. Vern Buchanan, a Sarasota Republican, backed Donalds on the 2nd and 3rd ballots this week. We're going to have to solve this race quickly, Buchanan said in a statement to Florida Politics. I've served with Byron. He's a conservative champion, and I hope my colleagues will consider his name as we look for a way forward. It's about time Florida had a seat at the table. Buchanan had reluctantly supported Jordan on a first floor vote despite previously backing Majority Leader Steve Scalise. But when Jordan failed to win the gavel, Buchanan shifted away from and backed Donalds. Corey Mills is also endorsing Byron Donalds as Speaker. I supported Jim Jordan for our next Speaker. Unfortunately, my votes for him on the floor and in the conference to remain Speaker designate was not enough. I now support Byron Donalds for the next Speaker of the House, Mills wrote on X. Notably, Donalds supported Jordan on all 3 ballots this week. In January, he had initially supported Kevin McCarthy, but bailed after a couple of ballots and after Rep. Chip Roy, who is my favorite congressman, by the way, of Texas, suggested Byron Donalds would make a better Speaker. That put Donalds in a position to negotiate rules concessions with McCarthy before ultimately supporting the California Republican when he won on a 15th ballot. Earlier, Donald made a run for GOP conference leader against incumbent Elise Stefanik of New York, a bold move for a representative just elected to a second term. Stefanik won the vote in November on a 144-74 conference decision, but Donalds had made his name and ambitions known to members. Now, Florida lawmakers see Donalds as a strong choice for Speaker. Byron Donalds seems to be one of the best positioned as consensus pick for Speaker. Christian Ziegler, Republican Party of Florida chair, posted on X. There are many reasons for this, so hopefully he will run for it. Let's give the people a conservative they will be happy with versus an unknown, boring pick for DC insider reasons. I assume she was talking about Jim Jordan there, maybe? I don't know who the hell she's talking about. Emmer likely heads into... Oh, that's who she was talking about. Emmer likely heads into a vote with perceived edge as a member of the leadership now. Donalds earlier this week suggested it may be time to look outside existing leadership considering the chaos of the past few weeks, and I would have to agree with that. Donalds also is a close ally of former President Donald Trump, the current frontrunner of the GOP nomination for president in 2024. Donalds would be the first black Speaker of the House in U.S. history, and he is one of just a few black Republicans serving in the House. He would also be the first Florida lawmaker to win election as Speaker. Notably, an election to Speaker would reverberate in Florida, where Donalds is widely expected to run for governor in 2026. And I hope he makes it, to be honest with you. Like I said, I've liked Byron Donalds in some of the committee hearings, but I don't know enough about him. I've heard him on some podcasts, man. He seems like a legit guy. I'm going to have to look into his past, though. You don't hear too many bad things about Byron Donalds. Like I said, he seems to be on his second term, so he's fairly new, still wet behind the ears, if you will. So we'll have to see how that all plays out. Personally, I didn't like Kevin McCarthy from the beginning. Like I said, I did back Jim Jordan when he decided to run for it. Like I said, I liked Jim Jordan, but come to find out, there's some shady issues in his past. There's a few things about him that kind of turned me away from him a little bit. I still like him. He's still a good representative. He seems to be for the people, for the most part. I didn't care for Steve Scalise too much. He's better than Kevin McCarthy, but to me, he just seems like one of those establishment kind of guys that could care less about the people and just, whatever about him. But, we got a lot of chaos going on in Congress right now, especially in the Republican Party, and, good for them. We need to get some of the old guard Republican Party out of there, man. These politicians are just bad for the country. They don't do any good. Most of them are lawyers, which makes sense, right? But most people don't like lawyers. There's not a lot of good lawyers out there. You tell me if there's a lawyer you truly like. Anybody who is friends with a lawyer and knows them very well, at least in my experience, doesn't like them. It wouldn't consider them to be a good person. My wife has worked in the legal field for 20 years. She knows a lot of lawyers. Now, I will say that is just in my general area, Lake Charles, Louisiana. But you would imagine at all of the lawyers she knows, most lawyers are pretty much the same. It's like the old saying goes, show me a lawyer, I'll show you a liar. They lie, they cheat, they get in trouble, they get disbarred. These people generally are not very good people. But I would like to hear from you guys. Who do you think we should have as Speaker of the House? If you had a top choice to pick from who we have right now, who would it be? My personal choice would be Chip Roy. I love that guy, man. He's blunt. He is not afraid to say whatever the hell he wants to. If you don't know who Chip Roy is, go look him up. Look at some of his House floor speeches. Holy crap, this guy is on point. He is all about getting rid of these omnibus packages, and he is all about getting these single subject spending bills. He is one of the people that would put the budget in check. He would balance the budget out. He wouldn't be spending stupid money on dumb crap like gender studies in Pakistan and tree equity in California and some of this other BS that we have going on. He wouldn't have these big spending packages putting, aid for Ukraine and Israel and the border, which is my next video that I'm about to do. He wouldn't be doing all that. You want some aid to go to somewhere? Let's write that son of a gun up and let's send it there. That's what Chip Roy is generally about. He's a representative from Texas. He represents a district on the other side of Houston. I'm not exactly sure which district number it is and all that good stuff, but that's neither here nor there. It doesn't really matter what district he represents. But from everything I've heard from him and everything I've looked up, he seems to be a pretty good guy. And that's who I would pick for Speaker of the House. Like I said, you guys, let me know who you would pick for Speaker of the House. Leave it down in the comments and let me know. And that's all I got for this one, y'all. Don't forget, hit that like button, please. And if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Turn on notifications so every time I pop out a video, it'll pop up into your feed and you can see it. Because like I say, I cover news, kind of obscure news. I try to get stuff that's not in the mainstream and cover it so we can know a little bit more about what's going on in politics. Because like I say before, I feel that it's necessary that we know a little bit about the people who represent us. You would figure that would be important to some people out there, but some people just don't give a damn. And, good on them if they don't care, but don't complain about the policies that these people make if you could care less who is making those policies. That's my conviction. That's how I live and die by right now. So, like I said, guys, thanks for watching. Do all that good stuff I said before. Don't forget to hit that like button. Please. Have a good one, y'all. And be positive. Peace.